Hi, everybody. My name is Vanya. Thank you for joining. Thanks for inviting me. I have 8 minutes, so I'm going to try to be fast. Hopefully, I'm going to manage to do it.
You can make it 10 if you want.
I can make it 10. Okay, that sounds good. So let me introduce your company first. Coreline Soft is founded in South Korea, in Seoul, in 2012. We already have over 90, like I would say rather 100 employees. Our CEOs, we have two CEOs, Mr. Kim and Mr. Choi. So they're coming from our already radiology known background. They were part of the market leading PACS company in Korea. So years ago, they decided they're gonna start their own company based with focus on AI and focus on the thorax, on chest. Since then, we've just been moving forward and moving rather fast so that we founded our European subsidiary here in Frankfurt, Eschborn, near Frankfurt. Actually, we're in the process of moving right now. So we started here in 2020, the pandemic year. It was a little bit tough to move the business forward, but as I mentioned, we are moving rather fast, and it's really good to have this good feedback from the market. We also have a subsidiary in North America, in Atlanta, founded months ago. And as you can see, we work with many partners worldwide. Our portfolio, our focus is on the thorax. So we are focusing on the big three diseases. It's lung cancer screening, it's COPD, and it's a calcium scoring. Other one that we also targeting is lung texture, ILD for the lung fibrosis, and as well as Q effect quantification for pneumonia and also for COVID, you can use those. So when it comes to lung cancer screening, this is really like hot topic right now. It's our major focus here, especially in Europe and in Germany. As you probably know, lung cancer screening is coming. It's going to be implemented as a national program in Germany, year 2 top. So the key features that we're concentrating here, it's automatic nodule CAD, of course, based on the AI follow-up mode. We have lung rats, we have volume measurements, volume doubling time, Brock score, and of course, everything is EUPS compliant. So when we talk about lung cancer screening, we noticed that the feedback from the market is not only about the nodules. So when you have that one scan of the lung, low-dose scan, it's important to report on other diseases as well. So what we call that holistic approach, we included emphysema into that quantification, and we also included calcium scoring. So when you do your one low-dose CT, you are able to get all these results only from that one scan in basically a couple of minutes of time. So that's like the main focus right now. What we are focusing on, giving you that holistic approach when you start your lung cancer screening projects or program in the future. So as I already mentioned, we have volume doubling time. This is also a very, very important feature, and it comes also with a viewer. So you can basically decide you want to use our viewer, you don't want to use our viewer. So as you know, AI technologies are mostly based that they send you the results back to the PACS for you just to see it. But we can also provide you with a viewer, with a 3D viewer, as you're already used to work from your PACS. And you can also manage or change or do whatever you want with those results yourself. That's also one huge advantage that our software can offer. 3D, of course, it cannot not be there. So we for radiologists and for pneumologists and also for participants or for patients, it's really important to see the 3D image, to see the nodules where it's placed, or maybe for in terms of COPD, of fissure integrity, if the surgeon has to do some cutting part of the lung, it's also really important to see this 3D image of the lung. So I can remove some branches and I can also just leave the nodule in, and you can see here, we can have the calcium scoring already presented on some vessels in the heart. The report is already integrated into the software. So this one is the German one. I just put because we've made it custom for the Hanse study here in Germany. But as you can see, it was really important. It was a requirement that not only the lung nodules is in the report, but also calcium scoring and also emphysema part. And of course, we had a 3D We had a feedback from Korea. Korea already has a national lung cancer screening program, and the participants react much better to the suggestions actually of the doctor to stop smoking if they see the 3D of the image of their lungs. COPD, it's a very comprehensive product. So it consists of emphysema, of a fissure integrity, vessel analysis, airway, and air trapping. So this is basically, you get 5 products within this one. And we already have many experiences that we're using it in Korea, in Taiwan, Japan, also in Belgium, here in Europe, Massachusetts General Hospital, and also in UK, we also use the COPD in one of the sites. So this would be all the engines that we have within the COPD, and it's important to mention you don't need to use them all. So you can basically pick and choose what is needed for your department, what doctor wants to see, what pneumologist wants to see, and if it's only emphysema, you can just run that engine in order to save some time. Calcium scoring, important to mention, we have 2. We have one which is non-gated, and we have one that is gated. And what is also one of the main advantages of our software, that we have, how to say, double validation. So we work with IDNA Institute for Diagnostic Accuracy here in Netherlands with Professor Ouderkerk on board, and he also was initiator of the original Nelson study, lung cancer screening study in 2006. So with his group of researchers, they also do a validation of our software, additional validation with additional data, European data, Russian data. So it's not only that we basically develop the software and put it out there. So we're running it additional validation just in order to improve our accuracy. So as for calcium scoring, we also have done it, of course, again, and we have the results over accuracy over 99%. Papers are also publications in paper. They're also available. So if anyone is interested to see some backup data, we can, of course, provide these. Lung texture, this is getting more and more attention, especially in Italy. I see this a lot. We're going to be installing soon in one of the sites in Italy. So you have the different textures of the lung that you can use, and also for the fibrosis. Fibrosis, as I already mentioned, that you can see what types of lung texture is there, so you can make your diagnosis. This is the interesting part, system interface, a little bit technical, but it's important to see that it's for AI software, software is not only important, it's important how it fits into radiology workflow. So it cannot be bottleneck. It cannot be just one software that is stands somewhere there, and it needs to be open, it needs to be used. It has to be integrated in the workflow. So that's basically A and O. And what we already been seeing before in the past with the 3D post-processing software, now we're seeing the same thing with the AI. It makes our life easier, but as well, it can be a burden if it's not integrated into the workflow of radiologists. So here you can see we can get the data directly from PACS. We can get the data directly from a modality as well. That's not a problem. And we can just connect via the link, via the browser to our server in order to do whatever we need to do with the software. At the same time, we can have the GSPS overlay. Only the results done by the software that are sent into PACS, so you don't actually have to open our software at all. The report is available as well. So we have the PDF encapsulated ICOM report that you can save as a separate series into the PACS and just open it as you would like to. Of course, some images, captures, everything. It's there for you to use. What is also important that we have not only the cloud, we have on-premise or hybrid. We can mix and match this. So depending on the customer feedback, the cloud is really easy solution. It saves so much time and it's easy to deploy. But at the same time, we have a lot of customers, they say no go. So you cannot use the cloud. We are not allowed to send data outside of the hospital, even though it's completely secure. We just cannot. It's a documentation overload too big. So to this regard, we can just install into the hospital, into the environment, hardware environment to be, the software to be used only by that certain hospital. So we don't have this problem with the cloud. So we're really flexible. Whatever it needs to be deployed, we can use it. Our projects, the lung cancer screening project that we're able to get, as I mentioned, K-Lucas, it's in Korea. It's not a project anymore. It's a national screening program that was a project, started as a project in 2017, but then in 2019 went to fully roll out, and now they have over 270,000 examinees per year. Hanse is a German lung cancer screening project, and started in July this year, and it's going really, the response is really good. So we have a lot of participants coming in and doing the lung cancer screening. For in the long run is a European lung cancer screening project, also with a Nelson team on board. So it basically, it's going to be referenced the initial Nelson study, but now with an AI, we're going to be central provider for in the long run. So it's going to be also compared the AI is good to replace one reader. Italian lung cancer screening project with Professor Pastorino in Milan. We also got this project as well, and it's about to start within the next month. Other references that we're proud of, especially for ST, that we were chosen to do the certification, lung cancer screening certification program with ST. So we've done 2 courses last year. And that was so successful that they also asked us to work with them on this year online course that is going to be in June. We also got an offer from them to be their exclusive sponsor, so to be included in all of their webinars that they're providing in this year. Other references that we can see in Europe. Leuven in Belgium, Leicester in UK, Parma in Italy, Cochin in Paris. In Belgium, we just starting with a new project, AZ Delta here in Germany, as well as St. Etienne Krankenhaus, and many more. We have a lot of also tests, demo installation, where we are cooperation projects that I didn't listed them all here. So this is basically the short overview of what we are doing of our product portfolio, where we are as a company, and where we stand now.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the presentation, Vanya. Now the floor is yours, guys, for some questions. Okay, perhaps I start with one. What is the acceptance rate of your products now, being, for example, in some specific regions? So what's the acceptance of AI in the industry you work in?
Acceptance rate is really, really high. I'm going to be honest and say that AI is still not the tool that radiologists can earn money with. So as you probably, I assume we're all in Europe here, so there's no reimbursement for an AI. So therefore there is no, let's say, priority for radiologists to be using AI. In terms of our software, it's a lung cancer screening focus right now. So for them, they still have some time, because the lung cancer screening is going to be implemented, let's say in Germany within the next year. But into that regard, because the things in Germany are moving really, really fast, we're getting a lot of inquiries right now, especially for the German market, as we have this proven projects, we have the publication, so we have the proven quality, as the quality is one thing that we really concentrate on and focus on. So we have a lot of inquiries right now to present and to start working on the implementation.
Thank you.
For your presentation, I would like to ask a question also. In what geographical market you are in the most interested now?
Excuse me, can you repeat it?
In what geographical markets you are most interested now?
So basically globally, but me, especially with the Coreline Europe, we are focused on Europe.
And which European countries?
So it would be UK, would be France, Germany, Netherlands, Poland, Italy, Spain, Slovakia, so Eastern countries as well, Eastern European countries as well. So we are covering from here, we're covering all those countries.
Thank you.
Some more questions, guys?
I have a question in terms of your screening programs. I mean, is this part of your strategy to enter markets? Do you come up with some special deals if you were to deal with government, for example, for a screening program for an entire country? How do you position yourself for that? How do you view such a possibility? I mean,
that depends from country to country. So I can tell you now in Germany that we are at a point where they're deciding how the program is going to be implemented, whether it's going to be on a national base, so one central solution for the entire Germany, or it's going to be decentralized. So we are ready to do both. We can do both. That's not a problem. But I think it's also the political decision. I honestly think it's not going to be one solution for everybody. It's going to be probably decentralized. I don't think that monopoly is going to be given, but it depending a lot on the country and how they decide to go with it. But since we've done a lot of lung cancer screening projects in different countries, we're also working on establishing one in Belgium. Belgium is not really, they didn't start their project yet. Let's put it that way. It got postponed due to the pandemic. And in France, so we're having all these cross-country experiences already. And we have experience with a reading workflow. And that is also one thing that is yet to be established in each and every country. So for Germany, we have the first read, we have the second read, we have the discrepancy. Some countries going to have only maybe first read and AI. But due to the experience that we were able to gain and that we already developed these workflows, we can easily adapt to all the requirements in each country.
and what's the kind of data that you're getting when you do these screening programs? I mean, what are the outcomes? I mean, I'm presuming are you screening high-risk patients, random patients? When you talk about screening, is it, as a screening program?
It's between, in Germany, it's between 50 and 55. It's a smoker population, either smoking or ex-smoking population, yes.
And these are for studies? These are studies?
It is still study in Germany. Korea is not a study. Korea is a national screening program. And in Germany, it's still a study. So Europe is still a study. And I think the next year, it's not going to be study anymore in Germany. I think it's going to be a rollout. Other countries may take 2-3 years more, not really sure, but they're all moving. France is also moving really, really fast. They're also doing, because they all need to do additional proof that the lung cancer screening is actually reducing the mortality in order for the country to implement the program.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.